We're going to carry on with the book of Hebrews this morning. It's great to see you all, or certainly see your tweets. When our hearts fail us, what can we do? What should be our response? You know, this subtle tendency when things go wrong in our lives is for us to go back to our old ways. When the pressure is piled on, people tend to revert to what they were like before they were Christians. And so a great example of how to avoid this is Abraham. So Abraham is an illustration of patient faith. It says this in Hebrews, so that through two unchangeable things, in which it is impossible that God would prove false, we who have taken refuge might be strongly encouraged. So God is a refuge that Abraham ran to, that Abraham stood upon, that Abraham went to in his discouragement, in the times when things were difficult for him. And it says, we've got the same hope. You know, like the people of God fleeing from Egypt, okay, when we're talking about fleeing from stuff, fleeing from Egypt to the promised land, or like we, having been delivered from our fears and our anxieties by Christ, we've taken a hold of Christ, we've run to Christ, we've embraced Christ, and He delivers us from our fears. So Hebrews is saying, you know, like Abraham, we need to flee to God, run to God, reach out to Him in those moments when we're downcast, when we're disappointed, when things are going difficult in our lives. Okay? The phrase, we who have fled to take hold of this hope, suggests the Old Testament cities of refuge, as described in Numbers chapter 35 and Joshua 20. You know, God appointed 6 cities, 3 on each side of the Jordan, into which a man could flee if he had accidentally murdered somebody or did something really bad. And the elders of the city would investigate, and they would determine whether it was manslaughter or whether he was actually a murderer. They could adjudicate on what had happened. A place of refuge, a place to run to. And that's what God provides. So God has given us this incredible thing that Abraham had a hold of, which is God doesn't lie. God has made promises. And if I run to Him and grab a hold of those promises, I can be secure, I can be safe. Okay? And actually, this is something so critically important for a believer, that the reason we struggle is because we haven't taken a hold of, availed ourselves of, insisted to our heart and our soul and our mind to revisit and to hold on to the promises that He's made. I'll give you one more example before we close this morning. I love the story of the woman with the issue of blood who never gave up. She had one last refuge to go to, which was Christ. One last place she could find hope. Okay, and that's what she did. She made her way to Christ. She pressed through the crowd. I'm sure she'd have been weak and exhausted. She had no money left at the end of everything, and she grabbed the hold of the hem of His garment. She found refuge in Christ. I think when we do that, like Abraham, we have a stable Christianity and a stable faith. And so I want to encourage you today, whatever you're going through, let's keep on turning to God, recognizing God is faithful, God keeps His promises. He's not going to let us down. The Lord bless you. Have a great day.